Welcome to Gillette Stadium, everybody, and another New England Patriots football season. I'm Mike Petraglia, joined as always by Patriots expert columnist Christopher Price. Chris, the preseason is over. Patriots managed to get through it pretty much unscathed. Your thoughts, your expectations going into the season opener this Sunday at Ralph Wilson Stadium?
I think when you're looking at the season opener, I think it takes time for both teams to kind of feel each other out, especially when you're talking about a Bills team. There's so much newness on this team. You know, a new head coach, a rookie quarterback making his first NFL start. It's going to take some time for both teams to kind of pick up on each other's rhythms. But I think New England ultimately ends up winning this game. I think New England just has too many options on both sides of the ball. It's going to be too tough for Buffalo to overcome.
Something that was, I think, interesting to note is how Tom Brady was scrambling this week in practice. Look, everybody knows the Buffalo Bills have a very, very good to great defensive line. Tom Brady made mention of it, calling the Bills' defensive front one of the very best in the National Football League, even on the run, scrambling through a touchdown pass to Rob Gronkowski. What should we expect in terms of how Brady handles the pressure this Sunday?
Lots of aggression. You look at this Buffalo defensive front, and traditionally they do a really good job getting after the quarterback on a fairly consistent basis. New defensive coordinator, we know from his time with the Jets, he favors a really attacking style. I think the Bills, they're not going to sell out, but they're going to go after Brady very aggressively. I think that's going to open up some options for New England, particularly in the passing game, maybe some play action stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Patriots run the ball. I know there are a lot of new faces on defense for Buffalo, but at the same time, this is a team that was one of the worst run defenses in the league last year. Stephen Ridley, Brandon Bolden put up big numbers against them last season up in Buffalo. Would expect to see a little bit of the same this week.
We mentioned Rob Gronkowski, Chris. Does Gronk make his season debut this Sunday, or is that just a little bit too much to expect?
It's too much to expect. I think a lot of the stuff that went on this week with Gronk was more about a smokescreen and getting the Bills to think about the possibility of Gronkowski being out there. But right now, my money's on Gronkowski coming back in week 3. I think you don't really need him for the first 2 weeks. Right. You have the season opener this week. You have a short week next week. Leave him on the shelf, and then maybe bring him out in week 3.
All right, one of the players, Chris, sticking with the offensive side of the ball that I'm really looking forward to this year is Shane Vereen. We obviously know what he's capable of. He had that big play against the New York Jets when he outraced everybody, including the Jets' fastest players, down the left sideline for the touchdown on Thanksgiving night. That was 82 yards. He had the big touchdown game performance, 3 TDs against the Texans in the playoffs. What are your expectations from Shane Vereen, and can he fill maybe 2 roles, Aaron Hernandez and Danny Woodhead, in 1?
If he stays healthy, this year sets up to be a very big one for Shane Vereen, because it's not just Danny Amendola. I know a lot of people looked at the Welker for Amendola swap as a straight-up swap, but you're looking at trying to replicate the production of Wes Welker, of Aaron Hernandez, of Danny Woodhead, of all of those guys that they lost, Brandon Lloyd, all of those guys they lost on. Those are big shoes to fill, but I think Vereen sets up very nicely because he can kind of fill that Joker role a little bit in that he can do some things. You can line him up in the slot. You can put him in the backfield. You can line him up split wide. If he stays healthy, there's no reason to think we're not looking at a 50-catch, 50-carry-a-year guy and kind of take things to the next level offensively. We saw a lot of great things from him at the end of the year last year. It's on him now to build on that going forward.
For a lot of NFL fans who don't follow the college game that closely, E.J. Manuel was one of the most talented quarterbacks coming out into the draft this year. He obviously started at Florida State under Jimbo Fisher. Your thoughts on E.J. Manuel, and where can he give the Patriots trouble on Sunday?
Really, I'll take the second question first. I think the key to stopping E.J. Manuel is to force him back inside. Rob Ninkovich talked a little bit about it today in the locker room, talking about how you can't let guys like that bounce outside. You have to force him back in. You have to, let them get after guys like Spikes and Wilfork and Mayo and Tommy Kelly and those guys inside. You let him get outside, there's real trouble. I talked to Manuel at the Combine and did a piece on him after the Combine pre-draft. He's a really intriguing prospect. There's a couple of numbers that jump off the page. First of all, he's a big guy, 6'5", 240. Second of all, he's mobile and he can run. And the third thing is he's really consistent when it comes to completion rate. He completed almost 70% of his passes as a collegiate. This is a guy who has a similar skill set. I'm not saying he is him, but he has a similar skill set to Colin Kaepernick. Now, Kaepernick got into a really good situation last year. Great offensive line, great defense around him. If Manuel can continue to progress and evolve as a quarterback, that could be his ceiling.
Something you wrote about this week, Chris, is if you're a rookie quarterback going against a Bill Belichick defense, the one thing you absolutely, positively cannot do is turn the ball over, and specifically interceptions. 3 cases of rookie quarterbacks beating Belichick over the last couple of years. It was Colt McCoy in 2010, and then last year you made mention of Colin Kaepernick. He did it, as well as Russell Wilson. None of them had a single interception in their upset wins over the Patriots.
Strictly speaking, Kaepernick is not a rookie, but he came in and he performed very well in that situation. But you can look at guys like Russell Wilson, Colt McCoy, Ben Roethlisberger, going all the way back to 2004. The rookie quarterbacks who have done well against Belichick and the Patriots have been very smart. They've gotten good complementary play. Defensively, they've gotten an excellent performance out of their defense. They've got a good performance out of their offensive line. Wilson was the only rookie quarterback who won a game who was sacked by the Patriots. So a lot of things have to come into play, and everything kind of has to click if you're a rookie quarterback. You also have to understand that it's not on you to win the game by yourself. One of the things that really stands out about those performances, they all got great complementary efforts from the rest of the guys in the offense, whether it's running the ball, whether it's catch, whether they got a great offensive line play, whatever it was. It's not on them to win the game. They need to rely on the rest of their team. They need to play good team football if they're going to come out of here with a victory against New England.
On the coaching side, Chris, obviously a name that is very familiar to Tom Brady, Mike Pettin, the defensive coordinator for the Bills, previous 4 years before that with the New York Football Jets. So should we expect a lot of what we saw with the Jets defense the last several years in Buffalo, or a different personnel?
I think it's going to be I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I think you're going to see some aggression. I think you're going to see not an overly blitzing team, but you're going to see a team that's going to make a concerted effort to get after Brady on a consistent basis, as we've seen from those Jets teams over the years. Again, the personnel is a little bit different. I think that's a great point, but I think the overall philosophy is going to be closer to what he did with the Jets. And again, that's attacking the quarterback. And again, I think the Patriots are going to have some options, particularly in the play action, also when it comes to running the football.
All right, Chris. Obviously, a lot of New England Patriots fans everywhere around the globe pretty confident going into this season opener. What should they be most fearful of, and what do you expect as a final result?
The fear of the unknown. I think there's a certain challenge there in facing a rookie quarterback who's never started in the NFL. You don't have any NFL tape on him. You're also facing a head coach who's never been a head coach at the NFL level. So I think that there is a little concern about what you might face, and maybe the Bills pull something out of their bag of tricks that we haven't seen over the course of the preseason, or we haven't seen from a Bills team over the last handful of seasons. But I think ultimately the Patriots are one of the most well-prepared teams across the league. I think the Patriots do end up winning this thing. I think it's a close game for maybe the first half, maybe first 2.5 quarters, but I think ultimately the Patriots just offer too much talent on both sides of the ball not to win this thing. I'm going to say 35-21.
Chris, it is great to have regular season football back again, 2013. A lot of expectations, obviously, for the Patriots to make another Super Bowl run. For Christopher Price, I'm Mike Petraglia here at Gillette Stadium, WEEI.com.